will tell you on every measure, from the economy, inflation, borders, energy, national security, he's missing in action.
Let's talk about them in order.
Hang on.
Wait, I want to challenge the premise. You said the economy, 13.1 million jobs he's created. More.
These are post-COVID jobs. Okay. You know that. That's an artificial number.
It's what's called a straw man argument, where a person doesn't engage with the actual points being made, but brings up a completely different point that was never being contested to begin with.
No. Then let me stipulate this as an opportunity to engage civilly on this.
Okay.
Fair point. Your president, Donald Trump, lost 2.6 million jobs during his 4 years. We've created 13.1 million. Fine, you can maintain a COVID frame. How about the fact that Joe Biden's created more jobs, 6 times more jobs than the previous 3 Republican presidents combined? I think he's a man of decency and character. I'm really proud of the president. I'm proud of what he's accomplished.
Is he strong enough to be president? That's
strong enough. Look what he just did to McCarthy. He ran circles. Look at the vote card.
I didn't like the vote. I wouldn't have voted for it.
Exactly. Kevin got played by the President of the United States.
You would do a 2-hour debate with Ron DeSantis.
I make it 3.
3-hour debate with
make it.
I hear 4.
And do it with 1 day notice with no notes. I look forward to that.
I want to talk about Martha's Vineyard, Sacramento, and of course, San Antonio. Now, you might wonder, what do these 3 towns have in common? They all have announced that charges are being recommended for Ron DeSantis.
Repeated assertions from Florida officials that illegal immigrants all willingly made that trip. We did ask Governor Newsom about his feud with Governor DeSantis and whether he would agree to a debate one-on-one with me hosting. Here's what he had to say. Here's my question. Maybe I have an idea that you'd agree with. I want to start a series of debates and get some of the best, brightest, leading conservative minds and some of the best, brightest left-wing minds or liberal minds. Yeah. And I'd put you in that category. And I want to call it like the great debates.
Love it.
And the first one I want to do is with you and Governor DeSantis.
Great. I've offered it. I've been trying to debate him.
Here's how
years.
this debate.
Time, Gavin Newsom has offered to debate you. In fact, he just recently told Hannity that he would do a debate with you as Hannity as the moderator. What do you say to that?
You know, it's interesting. He's got huge problems in his state. I mean, like, huge problems in his state. We all know that. I mean, you see it in San Francisco. You see it in L.A. You see it in the people fleeing.
That's a straw man argument, even though I do support toddlers working in sweatshops. But the straw man argument has been used so often.
We'll go. Good. I'll say Governor Newsom, Governor DeSantis, economy. That's the only word I'm going to throw out.
Love it.
You, minute, then you go at it, next topic.
Right.
And I'll moderate it that way, and you have my word, I'll moderate it that way.
I'm all in. Count on it.
You would do a 2-hour debate with Ron DeSantis.
I make it 3.
The actual statute that constitutes kidnapping in the state of California. Now, I've read it. It sure looks to me like what DeSantis did was kidnapping.
If you're leaving, like, Southern California to move to, like, Jacksonville, which is a great place, you're not doing it because of the weather, because they probably have the best weather in the country. You're doing it because the place is so mismanaged and ill-governed that you just can't take it anymore. And yet with all those problems, he has a real serious fixation on the state of Florida. I mean, I think it's just bizarre that he does that.
Nice to have you on the show. I appreciate you coming. I hear you had a difficult flight. I know those overhead bins can be very uncomfortable. Anyway, there's someone I want you to meet.
3-hour debate with
make
Do
it.
I hear 4?
And do it with 1 day notice with no notes. I look forward to that. We can talk about his zest for demonization.
Did he stay at the Holiday Inn Express? Jacket with an emotional support dog.
San Antonio is a bit different. We're not exactly sure what the charges are and who's being brought up on them. But the sheriff of Behar County, I know everybody says Bexar, it's not, it's Behar. the sheriff of Behar County has recommended charges in the case where the people were sent and collected up in San Antonio and shipped
We can
off.
talk about his assault on
And you
free
get to call him a
enterprise.
kidnapper?
I said question mark. Still being investigated.
Oh, the question mark was
still
really
being investigated. Still being investigated.
And you may bring charges. The people you know.
What kind of what kind of faith tradition?
How nice was it
Says
of him
you
to
should
send them
treat
to a
people
state
like this. So Ron DeSantis did the goodness of his heart. He's going around the country to try to help migrants and bring them to states because he knows a
question about that. Why is it that he sends a plane load of people to Martha's Vineyard, a liberal enclave, right?
Yes. For $1.5 million bucks.
Okay.
$1.5 million bucks. Who's the fiscal conservative?
Here's the best part. We went and we looked. There were more than double the amount of rooms available for every one of the people that landed there that day. Okay. And all of them signed a waiver.
Yeah,
all of them. By the way,
come on. I read the waiver. They showed me the waiver.
Okay.
I couldn't even understand it, and I have some pretty decent education.
And I'm not the bad guy for calling out the...
They got this...
Excuse me, I'm still talking. Why did their values always get turned around when religion is involved? Women's rights, gay rights, protecting children, separation of church and state, and free speech.
But what I would tell him is, you know what? Stop pussyfooting around. Are you gonna throw your hat in the ring and challenge Joe? Are you gonna get in and do it, or are you just gonna sit on the sidelines and chirp? So why don't you throw your hat in the ring, and then we'll go ahead and talk about what's happening. So.
Now, the people from Sacramento came from El Paso, sent on a private plane out of New Mexico. It's bizarre. Even though this is a Florida operation being done in Texas, it's weird.
They got the sanctuary liberal enclave couldn't handle, 50 illegal immigrants.
You don't do this with human beings.
They threw
These
them
are
out in
human
less
beings.
than 24
there were
hours.
Kids, there were children.
Then why did they throw them out?
Why do they do that?
Why did Martha's
Why do
Vineyard throw them
you
out?
use people as pawns? What faith tradition teaches you to treat human beings like this?
And saying so does not make me
to belittle them, to demean them under false pretenses.
Let me finish. Forget it.
To belittle them, to demean them under false
sanctuary state. Why don't you embrace them?
I'm about dealing with the cards that are dealt. I'm for comprehensive immigration reform. I'm proud of our president for putting a strategy out, and you guys have been silent on it. You haven't even discussed it. You haven't even picked it. I was there with these folks directly and listened to how they, human beings used as pawns for a guy's political advancement. That's pretty sad and pathetic. And so I take this very seriously. And as I said, we are not Martha's Vineyard. I love Martha's Vineyard. We're not Martha. This is California, 4th or 5th largest economy on planet Earth. We mean business.
Now, the Martha's Vineyard deal, I did a video about this a few months ago. That's blown up. And just like I said, Ron DeSantis is an idiot. He sent them to an island full of rich, Democratic trial lawyers who are retired and incredibly bored.
Sanctuary state, why don't you embrace them and say thank you for sending them?
We embrace everybody here. We deal with the cards of date in a human way.
Florida's not a sanctuary
state. I don't like people
state.
being told under false pretense one thing. I don't think this happened. I know it. I sat down with these migrants. I talked to every single one of them. They were lied to. They were misled.
In what way?
This was a setup. They were told they had jobs. They told they were going to get certain court dates changed. They were dropped off. They knocked on the door and they left, and it was not coordinated. I mean, what kind of faith tradition allows for this?
There is a videotape
dehumanization
of the people getting on the plane.
Because they were all lied to and told, you're being taken care of, everything's going to be great.
So what do you got? You now have a bunch of people with really, really good liars. Such good liars that they're all going to get green cards, the Class U designation green cards, which are only for people who help us in a criminal case by testifying or providing evidence. And because they're providing evidence against Ron DeSantis, they get to stay legally. Thank you, Ron DeSantis. Thank you very much.
Then because
By the way, I have the RFP.
Because they landed in your sanctuary state, you're going to take care of them. They should be happy.
Look, we'll deal with the car. I mean, come on, this is California.
I know it's California.
Okay?
I'm aware of where I am.
On this way, the fourth largest economy in the world. We can handle
Of course
all
you
of
can.
this, okay? I'm a border state. Ron DeSantis is not. I know he's desperate to get in on the action.
No, because a lot of people
belly flop. Donald Trump is going to clean his clock.
Is it fair that Joe Biden...
DeSantis has belly flopped. He will clean his clock. He needs
I don't have a crystal
attention, and he set this up months ago by doing an RFP. I have the contractors
my question
that he tried to
is-
hire, saying he was going to send people to California. This is a stunt. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic.
And Gavin Newsom, go get him. Put that man on trial. If he did this, and he tricked those people, like he did at Martha's Vineyard, like he did the people from San Antonio, that's illegal. That's fraud. I don't know what the charges are going to be, but something's coming.
And
Not
counties are
perfect,
looking.
but they're coordinating. There's a different spirit. There's a different level of engagement.
not leveling.
It's different in daylight and darkness. It's not perfect. There's some humility in this.
Well, isn't Joe Biden dumping people in Florida
It's not
and all
dumping.
these other states?
He doesn't dump people anywhere. What DeSantis
What's
is
the
doing
difference
is that
between what Joe is
everything,
doing and
pretense,
what DeSantis is doing?
manipulation.
Y'all tired of winning yet? I mean, how's it going with Florida? He's the badass y'all believe him to be?
Called him a small, pathetic man and asked, quote, kidnapping charges. Is that what you believe happened, Governor
Well, I think
Newsom,
I'm
that
being-
Florida kidnapped migrants and brought them to California?
I think I'm being generous, small, and pathetic. Very generous. He's just weakness masquerading as strength. Yeah, he's flailing, desperate for attention. Let's just level set here. Let's level set. Here's a governor from the state of Florida that is using taxpayer money, and he had to go to another state to find people under false pretense. I don't think this, I know this. I talked to the migrants, lied to them, took them into another state by bus, and then took them on a chartered flight to Sacramento, lying to them that they had help on the other side, knocked on the door, and they left these migrants right there on the steps. What kind of human being does that?
He's not a keyboard warrior. He's a real warrior. But I worry if this country's commitment to free speech will do the same.
I tell you what, Nikki Haley's looking pretty strong right about now. Tim Scott, too. Because if everybody else goes to prison, who's going to be left? Joe Biden can beat Nikki Haley. You bet your ass. And Tim Scott, you're just a hack. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy.